Hello, welcome back. So this is part three, or this is part two, but this is actually section three that I'm going to talk about. So section three is all about writing together and how to implement everything that has been said into your own writing. So chapter eight kind of advises. I'm sorry, that was my phone case. Chapter eight actually advises writers to make points and expand onto those points. So this might look like saying, if you're going to say Taylor Swift is the best music artist, you can't really just say that. You got to say, oh, Taylor Swift breaks a lot of records. She most recently has released 5 consecutive albums within like 2 years. So that would be a valid point to saying, oh, Taylor Swift is the best artist. Because you could say she's fluent and she gives her fans great work. That's a sort of more valid point. That's still opinionated, but at least that statement has something to back it up to kind of persuade someone to kind of believing something. So you could say that. And then so for chapter nine, it kind of explains knowing your audience and who you're writing to. So we kind of do this on the daily. So when we're texting someone, let's say we're texting our best friend, you might say some dumb stuff, you might spell some words wrong, but if you're texting, your grandma, you're going to make sure that you sound good and nice, and you're going to make sure that you don't have any spelling mistakes. There's a big difference between knowing your audience. It's the same thing for when you're playing games like apples to apples, or what do you mean when you're kind of like, oh, I don't know which card to choose, but this person would think that this one's hilarious. So you're kind of knowing your audience. It's the same thing with writing. So you're going to take that and you're going to be like, um, you know, I'm trying to think of an example. So if you're writing to your professor, you might not say, Ayo, selfies are so cool, but you might say that to, your best friend or something. That's a really cringy example, but going back to chapter 10, this kind of mentions the media commentary. I'm so bad at saying that word. Meta commentary, sorry. That was such a bad way of saying it. So, this tactic kind of provides more context to the reader and kind of lets them interpret the text. So, that's a very confusing way to say it. So, I'm going to give you guys an example. So, if you're going to read a book, you're going to realistically start from beginning to end. You're not going to read chapter 5, go back to chapter 1, read chapter 10, and then go and read chapter 24. That's not how it works. So, kind of having that, well, if you're doing that where you're skipping through chapters, you're going to get confused. You're not going to know the plot line. You're just going to know random stuff happens. It's the same way. You're going to want to talk in order. You're not going to want to say, oh, I like to go to the park, and my favorite park is all the way in California. You're going to say, oh, I love, the park around my house because it has lots of swings. Although my favorite all time park is, Central Park in New York. You could say something like that, where it's less open to imagination, if that makes sense. So you're going to want to make sure that you are able to kind of implement these in your writing. And an easy way to do this is just keep on remembering and rereading these points, or read these points after you write an essay and go through and think, hey, I have meta commentary going on right here because I, said dogs are the best, but honestly, I really like kittens. You got to explain some more, to make everything fall in line. So I hope that helps you guys. And good luck with writing and reading all of these text or this textbook because it truly is amazing.